Well, it's officially the start of the NBA season, and it's the start of the season for the Denver Nuggets, and yet we're going through another malaise with the Denver Nuggets. After some really good wins to start the year off versus the Thunder and versus the Dallas Mavericks, the team, in terms of just getting the synergy and the energy and all the things that you're looking for, the team had waxed and waned in this effort with blowout losses to the Knicks, embarrassing third quarter defensive performances versus the LA Clippers, and then a win versus the Utah Jazz in between. We're going to talk about today what exactly is happening right now with the team. Why are they sitting at 10-8, and how they can get the party started for real this week versus the Warriors and versus the Cavs. We're going to talk about all that and more in a short episode here today on Locked On Nuggets.
You are Locked On Nuggets, your daily Denver Nuggets podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's going on, y'all? Welcome into Locked On Nuggets. This is your host, Swiper. This is your team every day. Shout out to y'all. I am in the city of Denver. I will be at the game tonight at Ball Arena to watch the Denver Nuggets take on the Golden State Warriors, and I will have a post-game breakdown as well for everybody. But y'all, I'm not going to lie to y'all. You know, I've been doing some shows on different networks and different platforms, and people have asked me about the Denver Nuggets as of late and why they're doing this and why they're doing that, why the energy doesn't seem to be there and all that stuff. I mean, honestly, how I felt watching the Denver Nuggets the other day versus the Los Angeles Clippers, it was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. The Nuggets started the game off well. It was tied 59-59 at the half. Jokic was doing what he needed to do. The team was playing well. Murray was making shots. And in the third quarter, they get up 10. But then for some reason, when it came down to the second half execution, when it came down to the execution of the game, they just could not do the small things that win you basketball games in the NBA, y'all. And we're going to tap into a lot of that today on Locked On Nuggets. Y'all, today's episode is brought to you by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Now, here's the thing. Nuggets are 10-8. They're 10-8. They missed Jokic without 3 games, had his child. Aaron Gordon was out for a good amount of time with dealing with the calf injury. So there's a host of things that have happened. Jamal Murray missed a little bit of time because of the concussion protocol. So 3 of their 5 starters have gone in and out of the lineup. Now, if Joker played versus the Pelicans and versus the Memphis Grizzlies in those first 2 games, they probably win those games. And now their record is sitting at 12-6. And so now everybody's like, oh, well, 12-6, the record is, looking a little bit better. Everybody feels a little bit better. You look at the standings in the Western Conference, instead of sitting all the way down there at the 9th seed, they're 12-6. Hey, they're probably about the 3 seed, 4 seed right now. In front of the Golden State Warriors are 12-6. They're looking good. They're doing the things they need to do. And I think that's where some of the frustration comes in. The lull of the early season Nuggets has been around putting together the competent units they need to put on the court, finding a way to get the energy where it needs to be for the team overall, finding a way to make the defensive executions that you need to make on a game-by-game, possession-by-possession basis, y'all. And that game versus the Clippers for me was such a nice encapsulation of what exactly has been happening for the Denver Nuggets so far this year. I want to shout out my boy Ryan Blackburn. This is Ryan's 28th birthday today. Make sure y'all tell Ryan Blackburn happy birthday today. If you hear from him on Twitter or on Blue Sky, make sure you shout him out. You can find him at Mile High Sports. You can go shout him out on there tomorrow when the episode drops for Matt Moore and for Ryan Blackburn. Give him a happy birthday. But look, he put out a great tweet last night or last night. And he said the Denver Nuggets are the 29th ranked defense in the first half of games and the 5th ranked defense in the second half of games this year. And that, to me, is so problematic for so many reasons. They just cannot seem to get the energy where it needs to be able to make simple defensive rotations. Simple defensive rotations, to have the tenacity to be able to make weak side rotations like they need to. Like even in the game versus the Clippers, y'all, in the third quarter, they get up 10 And instead of saying, all right, let's put our foot down on the pedal and let's make sure we're closing out every possession very well. It's not a talent thing. It's an effort thing. It's an awareness thing. They get into the third quarter, and I'm watching literally they're leaving James Harden or Norman Powell or whoever wide open for wide open three-pointers on back-to-back-to-back possessions for no reason. It's just lazy, not wanting to overrun and overcommit the help, and then they just leave them wide open. And I think if you just watch the up and downs of the season, the New York Knicks game was a bad taste in people's mouth. I think the Knicks are good. But I had to explain to Nuggets fans afterwards, like the Knicks defense is incredible. No, the Knicks have not had a good defense this year. They haven't been able to rim protect all year. But in this game, they got up to play the Nuggets after losing to the Utah Jazz, and the Nuggets didn't get up to play them, and they got steamrolled, drummed. Like, the thing is, the Nuggets in early season stuff, and this is what I keep coming back to. They're in a situation now where, just like 2 years ago in the championship year, when the season started off that year, everybody gets it. They got KCP, they got Bruce Brown. They're looking so much better. They got all this potential. They can do this, and that. But if you look at like the way the season started that year for them, they were like the 28th ranked defense in the league through like the end of December. And remember, they went on a 3-game losing streak to Dallas, to Atlanta, and there's one more team they lost to. And everybody was asking me, like, Swiper, you said this is going to be the championship year. You said their defense was going to be better than it's ever been, and it looks worse than it's ever been. And again, if you look right now, per dunks and threes, and you just look at the defensive ratings, the Denver Nuggets, they have slipped from 12. Now they're at 11, 12, 13, 14. They're 15th in defensive rating right now. They're 15th in defensive rating right now in the NBA, according to dunks and threes, which it's just not good enough given their personnel. And yeah, I saw, Matt Moore talked a lot about this, and he did highlight that, Marco, that playing defense is all about effort, not talent. And that's just what it is. And, I just think that it's not, and I want to say this too, because I don't want to make it sound like Joker doesn't deserve any blame there, because he does. He's a part of the team. He has to do certain things better. But what I think what I'm coming to the frustrations about is Joker's having like one of the best starts of the season ever, if not the best. Okay, he's averaging 30, 13, and 11 on crazy shooting splits. Joker's is literally doing things that's never been done before, like top 5 in rebounds, points, and assists to start the year off. And efficiency is crazy from the three-point line, mid-range, around the rim for the most part, shooting really well. But Michael Porter, Aaron Gordon, Peyton Watson, Jamal Murray, Christian Brown, like they all have to be able to buy into their defensive principles. And I think if you can't make, when you're hedging and you're playing that kind of catch defense, and you're not making basic rotations to cut off the dive for the big, but then on the other end to cut off the dive for the big, once that corner player comes up to catch the big before he gets too deep into the paint, that wing player has to be willing to rotate immediately to that one pass away from the corner to the wing so you can get him a wide open three-point line. But that's what they were doing. Or even just on a skip pass, making the proper X-outs. They're just getting confused and the communication isn't there. And that simply cannot stand. And again, this is the most frustrating thing about it, y'all. It's not going to. It will not be this way all year. They are going to eventually, for a 40-game sample size, because this is what's happened the last 2 seasons, they're going to buck up and they're going to play elite level defense for like basically half the season. And everybody's going to be like, oh, man, where was this energy to start the year off? This team looks way different. And you're going to see it because eventually they're going to realize that we can't win basketball games the way we need to if we're not going to put our best foot forward. And right now, they got the Warriors coming to their house tonight. That's going to be a great opportunity. They got Cleveland coming up this week as well. That's going to be another great opportunity. Those are 2 games that are going to put you in different scenarios and different spots, and you're going to have to find some creative ways to come up with stops and create advantages for yourself and also deal with some very high-intensity basketball, y'all. They got a 5-game road trip after tonight. Cleveland, Warriors, Hawks, Blazers, Pelicans. All of those are very winnable games. Cleveland's going to be very tough. They might be the best team in basketball right now, but they're going to be very winnable games. And they got back-to-back games versus the Suns coming up. And then they got the Cavs again at home, Pistons, Jazz. So again, their schedule has about some really tough games on there, but they got some games that are very winnable. And this is going to say a lot about how they're going to kind of carry the momentum into January of 2025, y'all. On the other side, we're going to talk about where can the Nuggets get some juice from, especially over this stretch. And we're going to talk about the preview for tonight versus the Golden State Warriors. We're going to talk about all that and more here on Locked On Nuggets. Y'all, I don't know about you, but there are so many great things about PrizePicks. PrizePicks is the best place to get real money on sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, PrizePicks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. Run your game all season long on PrizePicks. You can now win up to 100 times your money on PrizePicks with as little as 4 correct picks. PrizePicks is the best place to get real money on sports action. Join over 10 million users and sign up today. PrizePicks puts their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. When my picks hit, I can get money in as quick as 15 minutes. Sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. PrizePicks also offers weekly promotions that can lead to big payouts like Taco Tuesday, each Tuesday. PrizePicks discount select player projection up to 25% to provide even more value for your lineups. So make sure you download the app today and use code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Download the app today and use code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, run your game. We'll be right back for more here on Locked On Nuggets. Y'all, welcome back to segment 2 here on Locked On Nuggets. This is your host, Swiper. This is your team every day, y'all. We're talking about your Denver Nuggets. We're talking about the Denver Nuggets with just some confounding defensive possessions they've had, some lulls that they've been in defensively that has really cost them some opportunities. But look, man, we're in a really interesting place right now where the Nuggets are sitting at 10-8. They got a lot of really good things on their roster that are going well for them, but they have some things that are just not working well. And again, y'all, I don't want to harp on this too much, but when your starting 5 is elite, which they have been, like a plus 16 or like a plus 13 all year, you got the starting lineup with Peyton Watson. They've also been elite, like a plus 13 on the year. They're dominating. And I would say Russell Westbrook and Julian Strawther and Peyton Watson, they've all have shown their stuff. They have a really strong 8, I would say. But the other instance of this is they are just still trying to find ways to get their bench to do its job without having to be so dependent on Joker to carry. And for me, that's been one of the big issues they're really going to have to figure out as they get closer to the trade deadline, especially. And the reason being, y'all, is Joker can do a lot. Absolutely. But at the same time, what we don't want is Joker just to continue to have to carry every single iteration of this Nuggets roster for it to work. Now, I do think Aaron Gordon being back, he looked good in spots just 2 days ago. He's going to get a good look tonight versus the Golden State Warriors. That's going to be a really important position for him to figure out that backup 5. There's going to be opportunity for him to play that. But again, I still think they need a little bit more there other than just Aaron Gordon over the course of the season. Peyton Watson, I think his ascension in the last 2.5 weeks since Aaron Gordon's been out has been huge. That's going to be a really big deal. I also think getting Julian Strawther playing more and more confident as time goes on, all that stuff is really going to help the team overall. But DeAndre Jordan, Zeke Naji, Dario Saric, Hunter Tyson, Blacko Chanchar now being hurt, they're just players on the roster. Jalen Pickett, they're just players on the roster that they're really going to have to find ways to get more production out of because they have so much tied into their starters, yes. But You still need on championship level teams to have players that are coming off your bench and contributing. And again, I think they're just another big and or wing, and particularly defensively, away from having some of the things that they need in order to make a move. But I think some of the juice is going to come from this week. You got the Warriors. You got Cleveland. In terms of establishing a bounce back and getting a healthy opportunity to say that what we experienced the last couple of games, that was a lull. We just were not ready coming out of the LA game versus the Lakers to play versus the Knicks. We should have won that game versus the Clippers. They went 10 of 18 from the free throw line in a 4-point loss. They shot 58% from the field in a 4-point loss. Ridiculous. They got outscored by 24 at the 3-point line. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. You have an opportunity tonight versus a Golden State team that may or may not have Draymond Green, but a Golden State team that started the year off really well, but they have been kind of coming back to earth. And again, I thought they would. Buddy Hield, legitimately, y'all, if you weren't paying attention to Buddy Hield to start the year off, he looked like an all NBA level player for like the first 2 weeks of the year. And I'm sitting here just like, y'all, I hope Warriors there. I hope they enjoy that while it's there, but that's just not who he is. And he has regressed since that point back to the mean, which is perfectly fine. But the Warriors are going to create a lot of different matchup advantages. They're going to be able to attack in space. They're going to be a very high-quality passing team. Their defense is also going to be really good. But at the same time, the Nuggets are going to be able to create a lot of matchup advantages as well due to the size and the athleticism they have. And really, honestly, just to be fair with you, even the shooting, like their shooting has been an advantage for the Nuggets this year. Now, some of the shooters, like I would say Christian Brown, who's been a traditionally good shooter over his career above the break, Peyton Watson, Aaron Gordon, they are, and Russell Westbrook, they're not like traditionally known as like good shooters. But based on where they are currently this year, they're doing their jobs and they're also finding ways to ingratiate their flow and what they usually do well into the offense that's working really well. And if you just kind of look at the team, like I actually have been really encouraged by what I've seen from the team in terms of their shooting. If you look at 3-point percentage, Jokic is shooting 51% from the field on 4.3 attempts. Porter is shooting 6.4 attempts, 41% from three. You're getting 33% from Jamal Murray, which is steadily going up. You're also getting 47.9% from three from Christian Brown on 2.7 attempts, 54% from Aaron Gordon on 3 attempts. You're getting 36% from three from Russ on almost 4 attempts, and you're getting 36% from three, which is what I kind of predicted going into the year he would be at 2.5 attempts. And then Julian Strawther, 41% from three on 3.4 attempts a game. So, like, literally, their rotation, their 9 players, they have 8 players they have in rotation that are all hitting threes at a fairly, like, okay to very good elite level. So that's going to be a function of them tonight, being able to get in and out of their offense and being able to work at a high level and being able to communicate within, especially defensively, being able to do the things they need to do to close out on these possessions. And so it's going to be really important that they're moving on a string today. And I really am excited to see how this matchup is going to work, because I think for them, if you can stack a win versus the Warriors, and then you can go into Cleveland, Donovan Mitchell's playing super well. Darius Garland's having a career year for me this year. Evan Mobley, Jared Allen, George Niang, Okoro. They just have a lot on their roster. You know, obviously Dean Wade and others, like they have a lot of different players on their roster. But I think with Kenny Atkinson and the way he's transformed their offense into this high volume 3-point shooting offense that's shooting really well, they're able to attack you in space defensively. They're everywhere all the time. There's a lot of really good things they're doing. And so the Warriors and the Cleveland Cavaliers, they're going to present different opportunities for the Nuggets defense, especially to have to hone in. And what I do love about these kind of situations for the team, even though these are more difficult matchups, the thing that makes them good matchups is that the Nuggets, if they're struggling defensively coming in because of communication and effort, well, if you don't show communication and effort versus these two teams, you're getting walked. You're getting walked. Like, these teams are going to blow you out of the gym if you're not getting good effort. And so this is a great opportunity for the Nuggets to have to be like, look, like, we don't want to go out here and look like what it did versus the New York Knicks. We don't want a third quarter versus the Clippers to happen tonight versus the Warriors. And so this is going to be an opportunity for them to work on their defensive execution and their rotations. 1,000%. But y'all on the other side, I'm going to give my official prediction for tonight for the game versus the Golden State Warriors, y'all. And y'all, it's going to be some great time making basketball content tonight, y'all. We're going to be back here at Locked On Nuggets. Y'all, today's episode brought to you by Game, y'all. Now, everybody knows I love going to concerts. I love going to events. I love going to venues. Y'all, there's some stuff happening for Christmas. You know, you got a special somebody in your life. I'm using the Game Time app to find the best deals possible. I even looked in tonight, some Denver Nuggets tickets, man. If you want to get some before the game starts and you say, hey, like you got somebody in your family that you want to take a game to, you want to give an early Christmas present, Game Time gives you the best seat available with the best view available for the best money available that you can find. And that's huge, especially for all of us as we're all trying to find a way to make the best with all the money that we're trying to earn for the sake of our family. And Game Time has the lowest price guarantee, or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference as well. So make sure y'all download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. And y'all, there's a lot of stuff happening in life. And again, some of the things that are they'll go under discussed around this time of year, y'all, is that Thanksgiving and Christmas are some of the toughest holidays around the world. And especially in the U.S. with Thanksgiving. And one of the reasons is because many of us have lost family members, whether it be parents or siblings. Many of us didn't grow up in a home where you had good memories surrounding these holidays. And so it's really imperative that if you are feeling in a place where you're like feeling depressed, you're feeling anxiety, you're feeling like some of you are working really hard to try to like provide a good Christmas experience for your family, but you just don't have everything you feel like you need to have in order to do that. I just want to encourage you to give BetterHelp a try. BetterHelp is here to help and to give you an opportunity to be able to work through anything that you're thinking or anything that you're feeling in this time. And if you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire and get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. Find comfort this December with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/LockedOnNBA to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/LockedOnNBA. We'll be right back for more here at Locked On Nuggets. Y'all, we are back here for the final segment here at Locked On Nuggets. Here's my official prediction for tonight. The Denver Nuggets get this win tonight. The defense isn't going to be what we hope it would be, but it's going to be good enough. I think the Denver Nuggets, they get a win tonight, 117-112. They probably go up probably 10 at some point in the fourth quarter maybe, but then they're going to let Golden State back in the game. They're going to close the game out probably with free throws, the inverse of what happened versus the Clippers. I got 117-112. Now, Steph Curry is going to be an interesting dynamic in this game, and here's why. They don't have KCP anymore, and KCP was probably the preeminent Steph Curry defender in the league. And Christian Brown is not as agile, or he is not as horizontally quick as some of the other guard defenders are in the league. Now, he's very strong, he's very aggressive, and he gets vertical, but he just doesn't have the same kind of defensive tools as KCP does. And so tonight, it's going to be really imperative that when Jamal Murray's matched up on him, he's chasing well. That when Christian Brown is matched up on him, he's chasing well. When Peyton Watson's matched up on him, he's chasing well. They're coming off those screens. And the other thing about what they do really well, and Julian Strawther especially, I have talked about this multiple times, and Russell Westbrook, what they have not done well over the course of this season, when opposing offenses, when they get to that split action at the top of the key, which basically they'll run like a little, like an inverted, it'll be an off-ball screen to try not to get Julian Strawther they'll try to get Julian Strawther onto the primary score, or it's going to be an on-ball screen where they'll try to get a switch. And Julian Strawther and Russell Westbrook especially, they have messed up that switch at least 5 or 6 times this year. At least. And in particular, Julian, because the Nuggets are doing whatever they can, sometimes, not enough, to not get Julian switched out onto their best scorer, because Julian is by far their worst defender in the rotation. And so in this instance, man, they're really going to have to work hard. That if Steph is switching with Buddy Hield, for instance, they're running that action with him and Buddy Hield, or that action with him and another shooter, you need to be very aware of that. And you need to stay locked in on exactly where you're supposed to be whenever you're supposed to be there. And then on the other end, you want to make sure that all those dives and cuts to the rim off that Steph Curry action, you want to be aware of that stuff as well, and making sure you're communicating. So screen, like backdoor, switch, like no help. So that means you got to run the hump and get over. But Joker, you got to be willing to show and get back immediately. Aaron Gordon, show, get back immediately. And then again, keep your hands out of the cookie jar. They fouled 3 3-point shooters versus the Clippers the last game. Unacceptable. Makes no sense to do that. Give them a contested 3. Let that happen. There's no sense in fouling someone and putting them in the line, because James Harden is a 85, 90% free throw shooter. So I would much rather him take a contested 3 even when he's making them, as opposed to getting to the free throw line and having wide open, uncontested looks at the rim for free throws. And that's a part of why they lost. You lose by 4, you foul 3 times on 3-pointers. Say they don't make 2 of those, and now you get the ball going down the other end. Just makes more sense analytically, mathematically, and just for the overall team to not foul and to be more conscious in those scenarios. So I got the Denver Nuggets winning 117-112. We get a little bit of a bounce back game from everybody that's on the roster. Joker goes crazy today. Another MVP, best player in the world performance. Jamal Murray. I'm going to say Jamal Murray goes for 21 and 6. He shoots, let's say here, Jamal Murray's going to shoot 8 of 15 from the field today. 8 of 15, I would say. Maybe. I think Russ is going to have a little bit of a decent game as well. Let me know what y'all think in the comment section. Who wins tonight? How do you feel about the Denver Nuggets performance to start this year off so far? What do you think they need to do to get better as the season goes on? This is Swiper. It's Locked On Nuggets. See you on the other side.